Shoot her! Shoot her! Ah! Yeah, I saw Jurassic World, and if anybody knows, that's a Jurassic Park reference. Now, I made a video a while back what I thought about the Jurassic Park franchise. I really like the first one. I like the second one too. I really like the first one. It's groundbreaking special effects. It still holds up today. Great story, great characters. I like the characters. They're so memorable. Um, great theme, great sense of environment in that movie. I mean, you really love the environment that it gives you in that movie. Very jungly, very sense of suspense, very similar to Jaws. Uh, I should talk about Jaws, but anyway, another video. Then Lost World, I think was a worthy sequel. I'm not gonna think it's on the same level as Jurassic Park, but you know what? I liked it. The thing about it, a lot of the characters, you didn't really care for that much because they weren't really developed. Um, but I still like seeing the dinosaurs. There's two characters I like. It's good to see Jeff Goldblum back. Actually three, and I like John Hammond. He's back for a little bit. Ian is back, like I said, Jeff Goldblum, and I can't remember his name, but I know the actor that plays him, the Pete Postlute Hunter guy. Oh my god, he's such a great actor in that. Just when he was giving that whole thing of exposition, you could tell he was just having fun with it. A lot of people didn't like that scene, but I just love it because it looks like he is having fun with it. You don't want to be a buffet. We're not alone on this island. I thought, he was on par with uh the guy from the first movie. He's like, we're being hunted. Clever girl. They're both similar characters. Um, but, I liked it. I didn't think it was terrible. I didn't think, it was as good as the first one, but just very rare. Jurassic Park's a tough act to follow. I really like the San Diego scene. I really like that. Didn't really feel like a carbon copy of the first one. They could have easily just reopened, have the same events happen, get people together, it's an interesting how they brought back the dinosaurs. A lot of people say, well, it is kind of a carbon copy. I can see it in a way, get the same deaths and all that, but it really isn't story-wise. Then they get to the third one. Now, the third one is legitimately not that good, but it is a guilty pleasure. It's just so hilarious, when he's like blows through the thing to repeat raptor language. And the new dinosaur, that dinosaur in the movie looks so stupid. The animatronics, it's funny to watch. And the Teloni, they're annoying, but they're just hilariously bad. Sam Neill was legitimately good in that movie. It's always good to see Sam Neill back as Alan. Now we get to Jurassic World. Now, I loved this movie. I really did. I think it is the best of the sequels. I think it's the closest it got to capturing the feel of the original movie. Now, I don't think it's still not quite as good as the first movie. I like the characters a little better. I like the special effects a little better. But I like this a little differently in different reasons than the first. Okay, so the first, I liked it was science fiction, thriller. The genres of this feel very different. Actually, the genre feels very close to the third one. It's different from the third one, but like the genre feels very similar. The first two are very science fiction horror. You know, don't mess around with nature. Don't put man in the mix of things. Just let things be. Don't like in the second one. Don't remove the environment. Don't bring back a creature that hasn't been around for 65 million years. It's just the rape of the natural world. It's just, that same theme through the first two movies. The third one is more of a B movie. That's what makes it more of a guilty pleasure, but it's done in kind of a weird, terrible way. This is done, it is a B. This one feels more of a B movie than a science fiction horror. There are science fiction parts to it. It is kind of compared, even the characters in the movie compared to like something like Frankenstein, creating, putting together I mean, they don't like dead dinosaurs, but like DNA, putting together different animals to make this dinosaur. Um, and so it feels a lot more of like a B movie than uh, a science fiction horror, which I love. I love how they did it. It's just the action is great. The characters figuring out how to take down this thing is great. It feels a lot like a Godzilla movie, you know. Uh, but similar to like how the second one, when he was in San Diego, felt like a Godzilla. This feels like not really like he's terrorizing a city, but it feels more of like a Japanese horror film thriller B movie of dinosaurs attacking humans and trying to figure out a way to take it down. Now, what this Jurassic Park does interesting that the other Jurassic Park movies really didn't do is it's not just the humans that are in. I mean, I guess you could say granted. Well, anyway, I'll complete my sentence. It's not just the humans that are in danger. The other dinosaurs are in danger too. Um, and I guess you could argue in the first movie, like the plants made him sick, but they weren't like in really legit danger. It was the humans who were in legit danger. Um, this is the first one where you feel it's not just, the human that are suffering. The dinosaurs are suffering too, which is very interesting how they did it. So it's not just saying oh, all dinosaurs are the bad guy. It's really just this certain dinosaur that needs to be taken down. Honestly, they can handle the other dinosaurs now. The park is perfect. They can handle a T-Rex. They can handle the velociraptors really well. Like they have whisperers, like that's what Chris Pratt's character Owen is. He's like a velociraptor whisperer. He's been around them since they were hatched. So he's built a connection to them. So he's kind of been like the alpha male of the pack. Um, it's just this one dinosaur because he's completely new. He doesn't know who he is, he doesn't know where he's at, and they totally messed around with him wrong. And he's very smart though. Like, okay, spoilers, I'm gonna just be all spoilers on this. Um, the dinosaur has camouflage because they mix cuttlefish DNA with it, and cuttlefish has the ability to camouflage. So it's really cool because they look in the security camera how he escapes because they think he escapes because they look through the security camera and they can't find him. They go in there trying to look for him and they find on the tracking beacon where he is. He's like, there, he's still in there, and it turns out he's just hiding. And man, he breaks out. He eats this really fat, chubby, out of shape guy. Uh, Chris Pratt, he just covers himself in gasoline, and it's just he has cuttlefish DNA. So this dinosaur, because he's a bunch of dinosaurs combined, is not just endangering of the people, the workers, the whole park, the animals. He kills long necks for sport, brachiosauruses. And oh my god, it's the most heartbreaking scene ever in a dinosaur movie. In fact, maybe in an action movie ever. I mean, he just okay. So this is the only time they use practical effects for the dinosaurs that I've noticed. I mean, maybe there was other animatronics. I just didn't really catch my eye. 95% of this movie is CGI, except for this one scene that I noticed. I mean, maybe there's more, but the Brachiosaurus is just, it's not just him, there's other ones, but they walk up to the one that's still alive. He's breathing. You could feel the pain. The way the sound effects is, the way the dinosaur looks. It's just really emotional. It actually kind of made me cry. I just, it's just really emotional scene. The Triceratops scene and the other one, how it's like kind of sad. If you thought that one was sad, you're gonna think this is Schindler's List. It's really heartbreaking to see this dinosaur die. And the reason why they showed it is because the lady Claire, played by Bruce Dallas Howard, which is Ron Howard's daughter, she's kind of like the manager of the park, and she just kind of like thinks of them as like this as numbers. Like we gotta do this, that. Like she doesn't really have truth. She doesn't really treat them like animals. She just treats them like numbers in a checkbook type of thing. She doesn't. That's when she kind of realized that they're more than that. They're animals. They're actual living things. And this dinosaur, is just trying to destroy the whole park because he's on a rampage. Um, Now I'll go over the plot. Okay, so the plot is the park is just really going down, and every couple years they have to get a new dinosaur, and it's going down. And the owner of the park, which is actually not Claire, it's actually this Indian dude. I can't remember his name. That John Hammond entrusted him to build the park Jurassic World, and he wants a scarier, mightier dinosaur, and so they genetically make one. Meanwhile, uh, Claire's nephews come to the island. Her sister is, I think, getting a divorce, similar to the first movie. How the kids are coming over when their parents are getting divorced, and she doesn't really have much time to spend with them because she's pretty much running the park. Um, and so while that's happening, this dinosaur breaks free. Is very smart. It's a crazy looking dinosaur. Chris Platt Owen, he's a Velociraptor whisperer, and he was in the Navy, and he pretty much inspects the park. Not only is he a raptor whisperer, but he's a safety supervisor pretty much. He just goes around checking the safety of the cages, uh, and the legitimacy of the safety of the park. Um, and so they call him over, and that's when they open the door, and that's when he escapes. He kills dinosaurs. He crashes a helicopter into like an area where they keep the pterodactyls. The pterodactyls escape, tear the, pretty much all the damage that the people in the park are facing are due to the pterodactyls. The Indominus Rex doesn't really interact with any of the regular park goers other than her nephews. Let me move this camera. It's very Westworld. This one actually reminds me more of Westworld than the first one does. Probably because this time it's an actual park. So the whole movie, they're trying to take it down, and there's this military guy, not Chris Pratt, but this other military guy, that wants to use the raptors to take down the Indominus Rex, and blah blah blah, and they do that. But okay, this movie probably has the coolest ending to a Jurassic Park movie. Even okay, if you thought the first one had a cool ending, this one actually beats it with the T. Okay, they don't show the T-Rex throughout the movie until the last 10 minutes, and it's the best dinosaur, even better than Godzilla fight of all time. It was amazing. Okay, so the lady, she's like, we need more teeth. She tells the guy to open up paddock number 18 or whatever, and the dinosaur escapes. Mer, you know, tries to, the dinosaur's fighting the Indominus Rex. At first, the Indominus Rex is actually kicking the Tyrannosaurus Rex's butt, but oh my god, it's just I hear that nostalgic roar. The T-Rex, even though it's not animatronic, I prefer animatronic, looks great. The T-Rex for CGI looks great. I heard the director said that it's the same one from the first. Spielberg said it was, it was either Spielberg or the director. So it was the first one, the dinosaur from the first one. And man, does he attack it. Of course, at first he's getting his butt kicked, but then the Velociraptor, the dinosaur took out like there was five of them four of them. Dinosaur took out the first three, and the one smarter, the main one of the Velociraptors, is still alive. helps the Tyrannosaurus Rex. They kick its butt. Oh, it's just such a great climax because you see the Velociraptor and the T Rex and man, does this movie slam Jurassic Park 3 in one scene because you can see the T Rex just when he comes out, he just crashes through a skeleton of the Spinosaurus, which is like a lot of people complaining. Even I thought it was kind of weird that Spinosaurus could beat a T Rex, but man, he just smashes through. They kick the dinosaur's butt. They push him next to the water, and this megalodon dinosaur fish thing comes up, grabs him, pulls him into the depths. The T Rex becomes friends with the Velociraptor. He's like, "Cool now, cool. You know, you got my other guy from the first movie, but I cool with Velociraptors." He didn't actually say that, but that's kind of what you got. And everyone's safe. The kids go back with their parents, and Claire and Chris Pratt get together, and the dinosaur just roars over the park. The park looks like it looks like a terrorist attack addict, and it just ends. Great, great movie, a great B movie. This movie does feel like a legit monster movie. And I loved every single second of it. There was science in it, but it was mostly just cheeseball, popcorn munching, dinosaur fighting fun. Dinosaur, velociraptors, pterodactyls attacking the people. Oh my god! And the Adonis Rex just like they have to hide through him, and he's just like, it's just great. This is how you should do a monster movie, and it might not work as a. Some people might say that it might work more as a monster movie, B movie, than a Jurassic Park sequel, and I could see their point, but I think they wanted to take it in that direction, and since they did it and it worked, I have no problem. It's great. Um, the only thing I'd say is technically this movie is very nostalgic, very nostalgic. That's what I loved about it. It's very, very, very cool on nostalgia. You get to see the old. Okay, so the new park is still there, but there's a little section where the old building, the old visitor center from the first one is. The kids discover it while trying to escape from the Dominus Rex, and oh my god, I felt like I was like 8 again. 8 going on the Jurassic Park ride again. And he goes through the area, and you see the banner where dinosaurs ruled the earth. It's where the climax of the first movie happened, and oh, and you just get the attention to detail. Like it had that same sky holder from the first movie, and it's just like where the Alan and the kids escaped, and the dinosaur wreckage of bones is still there. The only thing, I don't know why they had to burn the banner. They tied it to the thing and they lit it on fire, but I guess they had to survive. Um, they find the goggles. I've never been more excited to see a pair of night vision goggles in my life, but they do have it. It's just, yeah, they find the original Jeeps, and oh, so good, so good. Nostalgia trip, and there's little hints of it. You get to see the strand of DNA when in the new visitor center, not the new visitor center. You see the strand of DNA. It's CGI now, but it still looks cool. What I loved about this movie is it's almost a social satire of one, product placements, how product helps support, is how advertisement of different companies get supported through different various events. Um, like let's say like product companies naming baseball fields and stuff like that, and also it's a satire on kids on their phones and wanting faster, scarier, not being there's cool stuff and they're just like, whatever, I'll just go on my smartphone, just totally disconnected. Um, it's kind of a satire on that. It's a satire of many things. One's a satire of three things, I'd say. It's a satire of like product placements. Like this guy, because he's like, oh, the Adominus Rex will be sponsored by Verizon. I'm like, oh god, that's just hitting it right there. And the guy's like, well, they might as well just make the Tostitosaurus Rex or the Comcastosaurus, or the pterodactyl. Dial. I don't know. I can't remember. Some product page. This guy was just so funny, and it's a satire of that. It's also a satire of how we need stuff on our phones. We're not we're bored by all this stuff. It's like it's kind of mocking how we live today, and also it's kind of mocking other theme parks. The other one didn't do it that well. Not. I did do it well, but it doesn't really like mock other theme parks, and it did kinda, but it wasn't like it was trying to be its own thing. This one really mocks other theme parks, which is cool because this is probably what if Jurassic Park would open, it'd probably be very similar to this. First of all, what it marks is it's the down street. It mocks both Disney World and SeaWorld. It kind of mocks the Main Street USA, the visitor center, like with all these, what do you call it, shops where you can buy gift shops and restaurants, and then you see like a statue of John Hammond in the middle of the visiting center. I'm like, I know what that's making fun of. It's making fun of, the Disney statue in the middle of Main Street. It's just like John Hammond, same like type of looking statue. Like, yeah, it's making fun of that. It's also kind of making fun of SeaWorld in the sense, the Megalodonsaurus kind of has a show similar to Shamu and all that. And like the splash zones and all that. It is making fun of. You know what this movie actually kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Jaws 3D. It's just popcorn B movie fun. It is cheesy, but it's so fun. It takes place in SeaWorld. It kind of mocks it. Um, and you got that, summer vibe to it. That's always fun. If you like, it's a lot better movie making than Jurassic Park 3. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Jurassic Park 3 was a cheap sellout. But this movie kind of has the same spirit of that, I'd say. This movie's a lot more. It's a smarter than that. It's more. It's more like interesting characters than that. Don't get me wrong. Like, and it's more. It's great to look at. A lot of people say that the CGI looks fake. I think they look great. Don't get me wrong. I think I prefer the practical effects over the CGI. I'm sorry. In the first one, and even it proved it in its own movie when the long neck was dying. uh, you just had much more of a connection to it, and you felt more sorry to it because you saw it actually there. If it was CGI, I don't think it would have made the same impact as it does. But man, does that scene tug at your heartstrings because it looks actually there. It looks real. Looks like it has feeling. And I wish they would have utilized a little more. There's two things I wish they would have utilized. Make it a little better. I was about to mention I wish they would have utilized this one thing. I mean, they did a little bit, but before I got off topic onto another topic. Okay, so I'll tell you, I wish they would have utilized more practical effects like they did. But the CGI looks great, don't get me wrong. I wish they would have used a little more practical effects because you felt the emotion, you felt the character feeling. You felt the loss. You felt the dying breath of the Brachiosaurus because it was actually there. It didn't feel like some CGI Chris Pratt and Owen and Claire just looking at some two red dots in the middle of the grass for CGI. No, it was actually there, and I just really felt for it. And I think that, not to say that this movie didn't have an emotional connection, but I think this movie would have been a little better if they would have utilized a little more practical effects. Like, I heard that they did, but I think they didn't use it. They did make a practical effect for the Indominus Rex. I wish they would have done that, seeing the practical effects. Um, A little more. Maybe I would have been a little more scared if it was real. I mean, I don't. I was scared. This guy is scary, but I probably would have been like shaking if he was a practical effect because he was there, because he's there. So I wish they would have utilized a little more practical effects. There was only one that I saw. There could have been more. Um, there's only one that I saw. And also, I wish they would have used a little more of the original theme. Michael Giacchino did a good score for this, but it's not the same John Williams soundtrack from the first movie. They did use the main theme in two areas. That was great. I wish they would have used the original theme for the ending credits. But I wish they would have utilized not just that scene, but the other John Williams music from the other one, just to give it. If it had that, I would have felt a lot more of it nostalgic. Don't get me wrong, this movie is a nostalgic trip, but I would have just that would just been icing on the cake if I saw that, if I heard that. I guess you should say. Um, I have nothing to nitpick. I liked what it was satirizing. Oh yeah, I should finish my Jaws statement. It's a lot smarter. It looks much better, and you like the characters much more. But it kind of has the same spirit as Jaws 3D. If you want to know what this movie feels like, spirit-wise, like the same type of thing maybe they are going at, this is probably what Jaws 3D should have been, more something like this. But the set has the same spirit as Jaws 3D. And it's just so fun. I love actually Jaws. Just get off Jurassic World quick. Jaws 3D is my favorite of the Jaws sequels because second one was don't get me wrong, the first one's the best, but second one's kind of boring. The fourth one is just it's stupid, but not in a fun way. The third one though is just so stupid in such a cheesy fun way. I cannot have a good time watching that movie. And not to say that this is stupid, but or cheesy. There are some cheesy moments. Don't get me wrong. Every Jurassic Park movie has them, but this has this same B movie heart loving experience that I loved about Jaws 3D. This just kind of feels like the Jaws 3D of my era, and it's much better than that. Jaws 3D is actually kind of a bad movie, but it's a bad movie done in the most hilarious way. But it has like I said, the same spirit, the same type of feel, I guess you could say, the same type of like feel to it as Jaws 3D did. Um, like even some of the characters kind of remind me of Jaws 3D. Like Owen does remind me a lot of the Brody guy from the first movie, Dennis Quaid's character. So if you love Jaws 3D, you probably like this movie because it has that same spirit. If you love Jurassic Park, you probably like this movie. If you don't like Jaws 3D, you probably still like this movie because if you like Jurassic Park, it's great. Um, though the movie that's just some of my two nitpicks about it. Um, anything story wise? Ah, not real. I mean, the first 10 minutes kind of felt like a different movie. Like I know you saw the egg hatching out and all that, but like the two kids at their house and going to the airport just felt like and the kid saying goodbye to his girlfriend. At first, I'm like, is this Jurassic World? Did the guy in the film projector accidentally stick in the wrong reel? Kind of like a white Tyler Perry movie at first, and then you finally get to the. So at first, it doesn't feel. I would say this. It doesn't catch you in the. It doesn't get you sucked in the first 3 4 minutes when they're packing and going to the island. You really get stuck in when the kids on the monorail and you see the park, and well, really when they're on the boat you see the park and it starts playing the old music and you're like, yeah, that's when it starts to feel a lot like a Jurassic. From there on out, it's a Jurassic Park movie. I'm just nitpicking about 4 minutes out of a 2 hour and 4 minute movie. um, so it's just that area. I thought at first was like, I wish they would have got to it feeling like a Jurassic Park movie sooner. Um, like even the third one, kind of felt like Jurassic Park, even though we're on the island. Yeah, I just feel like I wish they I mean, but it did make the island more satisfying to see because you're like, yes, we're finally here. This is gonna be a Jurassic Park. I give this movie A. An A. I get non minus or plus. Like I said, it's not as good as the first movie. The first movie is a classic. It's a nostalgic classic, groundbreaking movie. Similar to Star Wars, Jurassic Park has always seemed to be just there. I can't remember the first time I watched it. I just always kind of had it. Um, you know, and it's just so cool to see this coming back to this park. It's so cool to. I saw this on Thursday night, and I waited till today to really get a deep, digestion of this movie. I'm gonna see it again tomorrow, actually, with my brother, and maybe I'll make another one. Second thoughts about it. So it's I would say it's a perfect example of how to do a sequel. This is the closest we have ever gotten to a true Jurassic Park sequel. This is the closest we've got to capturing the magic of and lovability of the first movie, even though it's done in a much different way. The other one, is science fiction thriller. This one's just B movie popcorn fun. But I love it. In that set sort of sense, it's almost as good. Um, if it wasn't for the nostalgic factor and the groundbreaking special effects and the amazing characters of the first movie, I probably would have liked it better. The thing is, I love these characters, don't get me wrong. I love Chris Pratt. He's a cool dude. I heard they're gonna have him in an Indiana Jones reboot, which I'm kind of against. I mean, there's some movies I don't think that should be remade, and Indiana Jones isn't one of them, or rebooted. It should just be, left alone. But if there were someone to play Indiana Jones, again, instead of Harrison Ford, I would want it to be Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is great in this movie, and he does have that Sam Neill Dr. Grant feel. I always thought Dr. Grant, was like an Indiana Jones character. And so this guy captures it very well. A very good character. And, the Claire, great character. She learns not to be so corporate. She learns to be a little more caring for her, not to be too much into corporate stuff, but more into her family and don't treat these creatures like they're corporate, like Pepsi or something. They're actual living things. The great story arcs. I mean, he didn't really have a story arc other than he didn't really need one, because there wasn't. He just needed to be help them take down the Rex. So he didn't have a story arc, but he didn't need one. Owen. The lady did, and she needed one, and I thought she had a great story arc. The kids have a great story arc. I like these kids actually better than the one in the first movie. They're a little less annoying. I think maybe because one of them's older, um, and where the other ones were actually very young. The other one's like maybe 18, I'd say, maybe about 17, I'd say, and the kid's about, I don't know, 11. But I think because one of them's older, it's easier. The other kids, they were innocent. They weren't bad actors. They pretend to portray innocence, and innocence is a little weird to see in this environment with the grown-ups, and but it was great. And don't get me wrong, I like the kids from the first movie. I thought they really again had a story arc in this one. They helped Dr. Grant in the first movie who wanted to have children. That was a great story arc, which was kind of ruined in the third movie. But anyway, I like these Where was I going with this? I like these characters, but I can't say they're more memorable than the original characters. The other characters are just so memorable, so great. I mean, I could see people remembering Jeff Goldblum's lines till the end of cinema. I can't picture anybody remembering, Chris Pratt's line till the end. Not to say that he's bad. It's just the other ones were a lot more memorable. I can't imagine anybody saying Chris Pratt's or Claire's line till the end of cinema, like I can with Jeff Goldblum or Sam, Ian Malcolm or Sam Neill, Dr. Grant, or even John Hammond. All those are just memorable characters. Um, and what they did and what they said and how they looked. Even how they looked was so memorable. Not to say that these characters are bad, they're just not as memorable as the other characters. Probably because they've been in our hearts forever. If I didn't grow up with Jurassic Park, I probably wouldn't say that. Um, so I love this movie. It's an A. I give it about a 3.5 out of 4 stars. Not as good as the other one. Probably my favorite movie of this year. I actually thought Mad Max might have been my favorite. I almost did a review of Mad Max, but I'd say I like this movie better than Mad Max because it brought me back to a time that I loved. When I was 8 years old, and I was going through a Jurassic Park phase around when I was about from the ages of 4 to 9. I was in a Jurassic Park phase, and I went on the rides at Universal, which I wish I could go back to Universal to ride. I want to go back to Universal and ride that ride before it closes, because Universal's just closing all their rides, and that's one of the reasons why I'm glad this movie came out so that they didn't close the ride because I hope this movie's successful because it's pretty much gonna make Jurassic Park relevant again, and it's so cool to see that. Not to say it wasn't relevant, it's just that Universal's closing down Back to the Future classic movie rides that I grew up with, Back to the Future, and they didn't close E.T., but they did close Jaws and E.T. are both from both Florida, and I know the Florida is the one where ET is, but if I just wish they keep Jaws open. I mean Jurassic Park open. Jurassic Park and ET are the two that are still there from my nostalgic time period. And I would like to go one of these days. I would like to go back to Universal and ride that ride before it closes. I don't think it's going to close anytime soon because this movie's doing very well, and so they're like, hey, since Jurassic Park's relevant again, we don't have to close the ride. Keep it open because people are going to want to ride it because of the movie, and it's going to help endorse the movie. At worst, they're probably just going to change the title of the ride from the Jurassic Park ride to the Jurassic World ride. And maybe they'll refurbish it with the Indominus Rex on it. I don't know. It's an A. I give it an A. It made me feel like a kid again, back to the time when I rode the 2 rides, watched the movies, even the third one. All 3 of them I just watched a lot. Jurassic Park, I'd say is probably one, if not my most nostalgic. I don't know if it's as nostalgic as Stars, but it's definitely one of the most nostalgic. Or Back to the Future. It's definitely in the top 3 most nostalgic franchises. I love it. Jurassic, the first one's in my top 10 favorite movies, top 15, top 10, and I think this is the closest it's got to capturing the greatness of that movie. So, that's all I have to say about Jurassic World. Um, a great movie. I definitely recommend seeing it. Um, those who haven't seen it, go see it. Great movie, great time, fun B movie. It has great spirit, great summer movie. Um, Definition of a great summer movie. So, I will see you on the next big movie I might do one for Terminator Genesis. So that kind of like a British guy, Genesis, and maybe for Fantastic Four. I don't know. I'll definitely do one for Star Wars. And so, I'm sorry if I haven't done anything for the Marvel movies. I'm not. I love Marvel, don't get me wrong. I saw the Avengers, but I'm not as big in the Marvel movies as I am with, DC. Although I do love Spider-Man. So, I'll see you next time.